Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Noah2 and thank you for watching this video. I will be going over 4 deck archetypes for No Hope mode over the course of 4 different videos. We'll do one video for each deck here. These are sort of the general decks that you might encounter yourself playing, or other players might describe their deck as like, I'm going to be a support, or I'm going to be a DPS, or I'm going to be a melee character, right? The sort of 4 general archetypes, or 3 archetypes that we're so used to hearing. But also the speed clutcher here. This is sort of my style gameplay. Also well-rounded. Don't be scared by the word speed. Not a speed running deck. But we'll be starting with melee today here. Quick disclaimer about all of these decks. These decks are built around the idea that you'll be playing with 3 human teammates. You're also human though. You deserve love. Also, this melee deck, I would say, pretty comfortably fits into all 4 of the acts. Ideally, you play this with Holly, because the stamina regen, but also the damage resistance will give us more value out of our temporary health. But honestly, feel free to play whatever character you want. Play this with Charisse, play this as Hoffman, who cares? It's not a huge deal, though there's tiny optimizations that you can make as far as which cleaner you play. You know which cleaners do what. I trust your judgment. Now, when it comes to this particular melee deck, before I even get into it, it's not really designed around the idea that we're going to be smashing up tall boys with it. Though we are running spiky bits and batter up, so 60% bonus damage on your axe, feel free to do so. This deck is really, in my personal take on melee, is just to deal with zombies. I think that's the best thing that melee can do very comfortably. And you can do it with less cards. Usually, right, when it comes to dealing with mutations with a melee weapon, you wanted to commit a lot of cards to it. And we actually have a lot of cards committed here to being melee, but this is about sustain. This is about generating lots of temporary health and be able to hold a door infinitely. So this deck will be great for T5 on Act 3, where you can hold the stairs and do really well for a really long time, as well as having some other general tools that are important, because I don't think that we should have 15 cards that just say the word melee in them and go, that's a good deck, right? Because we want diversity, we want other skills, we want other tools to be developed, so our deck can excel in multiple situations with a primary focus, right? Our win condition is when we swing a thing. If we can swing a thing, we win a lot of the times. Also note there is no combat knife in this deck. I am not a big fan of a melee deck who has a melee weapon as their secondary and a combat knife card. To me, it feels like a wasted card slot. I understand that there is some nice convenience to it, being able to carry a fire axe so that you can chop things up. But then, oh no, a volatile Ridden shows up and you can stab it with your knife, and you can also have your weapon out and still use the combat knife. I just feel like if you're going to run combat knife, you shouldn't have a secondary weapon that is a melee weapon. That's just my take on it. For the most part, though, I just like the idea of us being able to cut combat knife out. I think it's kind of a crutch for you, for some of you folks out there. I'm sorry. You don't need it, though. You don't need it. If you're just going to be a melee character, just put it in your secondary and we save a card slot. That's so cool. But no combat knife. Feel free to take whatever you want out and put combat knife in if you can't stand it. Share the wealth. General economy card. We're playing with 3 people. If everyone has Share the Wealth, that's 1,600 copper per mission. It's an insane amount of copper. Share the Wealth is a must-have card for every single team composition on all 4 players. Standard. Let's get into the actual melee cards, though. Slugger. And that's it. You might be going, oh my goodness, where's our Meth Head? Where's our Brazen? One, I like to be able to have the ability to aim down sights. It gives us the full range of ranged weapon choices here. We don't need to worry about, oh, I have to run a shotgun, or I need to run extra accuracy cards or things like that, right? Let's just cut it out. The funny thing about the stamina efficiency thing with these cards is also the melee attack speed. Yes, when we swing, it costs less stamina. That's good. But we also swing faster, so it's so much easier to just overswing, and you throw in 2 or 3 extra swings that you didn't need to because you held your button for an extra second too long or something like that. And all of a sudden, your melee stamina efficiency goes out the window. It doesn't really matter. But we deal with our lack of stamina in a different way here. Our lack of stamina efficiency. I find that with Slugger, for the most part, you swing just fast enough to very comfortably and deal with the Horde. No big deal at all. What's going to be important for our stamina efficiency is our melee damage. We want to make sure that our melee weapon can one-tap monstrous zombies on no hope mode, and with spiky bits and batter up, you can do so comfortably so long as you get headshots. Of course, if your melee weapon goes up in color, then you can start doing body shots and one tap the zombies. But spiky bits and batter up will allow us to do that more comfortably, more easily. Plus the damage resistance is really good, right? But how we're really dealing with our stamina here between Slugger and Berserker. Why do we care about stamina when it comes to our melee weapon? Right? Why do we care about running out of stamina? We run out of stamina and we swing our weapon. Right? Our weapon, we don't get to swing it quite as fast. We're tired. And also when we hit, it does less damage, and it sort of sticks into them sometimes. Berserker, interestingly enough, gives us both of those things back, right? We're out of stamina, and we're out of stamina because we were swinging into a big old horde of zombies for a long time. Well, that's when Berserker pops off. That's when Berserker's at its best. We can sort of compensate for our loss of damage and our loss of swing speed by just having Berserker, because so long as we can one-tap zombies comfortably in the head with our spiky bits and batter up, Berserker will be triggering, helping to compensate for our loss of stamina, for our loss of damage and swing speed. And I find that if you run out of stamina, but you got like 3, 4, 5 stacks of Berserker going, you almost don't even feel it sometimes. So, I mean, you'll feel it comparatively because you have Berserker, but for the most part, you can just keep going all okie-dory. What's the word? Anyways, you're fine. You're fine. I actually think this is a way more fun card to play instead of like having Brazen or Meth Head to compensate for a lack of swing efficiency as well as swing speed and damage when we lose our stamina. So between these 4 cards, I actually think we're pretty much good on our stamina for the most part, though we'll pick up cross trainers later on. Next is for the sustain part of it all. Face Your Fears Vanguard, that's standard. I'm a big believer Vanguard is the best card. One of the best cards for melee. It's one of the reasons why you run melee. It's so much potential health for your entire team. And if you got Mom on your team or characters on your team who are running pumped up, Vanguard just gets even more value. It's awesome. Love, love, love Vanguard. Now we just have Fit as a Fiddle and Pumped Up to round out our melee sustain wombo combo here. Right? So keep in mind that these are in the context of like you're approaching people and you're going, "Hey, you guys want to play No Hope mode?" Remember when you were kids and you had to ask people to play? Same thing. Same thing. And essentially people go, "What do you want to play?" "I'm going to play melee." And you don't need to worry about what they have, what they're running, if they're going to be Charisse or not. Maybe you can be Charisse. Maybe you're always going to be a Charisse. Feel free to cut Fit as a Fiddle out, put whatever you want in, if that's the case, right? This deck is sort of generalized in the idea that you can play with any character, play with any team composition. Somebody asks you, "Hey, do you want to play melee?" You can go, "Yes, I got this awesome melee deck from this handsome dad I saw on the internet." The Fit as a Fiddle will allow us to get more value out of Face Your Fears and Vanguard, and also allow us to get value out of it immediately. The funny thing about these cards in the past was in order for you to get value out of them, you needed to take some amount of damage first before you could start building up the temporary health to replace your trauma or your health loss in general. Fit as a Fiddle will guarantee that we can always have at least an extra 20-ish or so points. This 20% is a little bit bigger because we have all this extra health that we got going on. And then Pumped Up. Temporary health decays 20% slower. If you got a Charisse on your team and Fit as a Fiddle, and other teammates have Fit as a Fiddle, you can have an extra 100 plus points of temporary health, and it decays 20% slower. Super awesome, super cool. The extra pain pill is a nice bit of economy here. And 5% health, which means that we squeeze out like an extra point or 2 of health between all of our extra health cards that we have in our deck. But also, if your team is good economy-wise and you start You're able to start purchasing extra team health upgrades. Pumped up. Pumped up can generate, I don't know, 10 to 20 extra points of health. That's quite nice. Quite nice. Now we're diversifying our skill set here. Double grenade pouch, bomb squad. Sort of a team effect here. We're not really looking to boost our own grenades necessarily. We just want a card that, again, continues to add to our economy, but also gives our entire team extra damage as well. So if you do have a character on your team who's going like Grenadier, nuclear grenade build, your bomb squad will aid them in that. And if not, and if you do end up being like the only person on your team who is running grenades or extra grenade damage, getting the extra 25% out of your grenades for each color upgrade is actually really, really nice. And it won't quite help you keep up with hardened tall boys for the most part with just bomb squad, but it will allow you to eventually start nuking bruisers and things like that with a single grenade, and if it's all falling apart, you can potentially nuke a boss if you really need to. That was not the most efficient, unless we get some purple grenades rolling in. Next we have cross trainers, run like hell. Very standardy movement speed, stamina stuff. We prefer this over superior cardio because we want the extra stamina regen for our melee nature that we have here. And then cold brew coffee, because cold brew coffee helps with everything. Right, we're not running meth head here. We have the ability to run whatever weapon that we want. Run a sniper rifle. Who cares? Cold brew coffee will allow you to more comfortably deal with all of the circumstances that you'll be coming under. Pick up any weapon, use any combination of things, it doesn't matter. It'll allow you to swap more comfortably, reload faster, everything. You'll be using this card constantly. So this is a nice little card to sort of round out our abilities, particularly with shooting a weapon and then swapping back to a melee weapon. So this is just a very simple, comfortable melee sustain deck. It works on all 4 of the acts. Let me know what you think of it, and I'll see you guys in the future.